Welcome to Offensive, where every show ends in a three-way tie, guaranteed. We know that football fans love ties. Like you wear a tie when you wake up in the morning. You tie your shoes when you wake up in the morning. We love ties. There's nothing better in life than a tie. What do you do? You guys agree? Do you just love watching football
Thai food
ties?
is delicious.
Thai food's delicious. Also,
Bow ties,
lots of
bow
great
ties are
ties.
cool.
The only time a tie is ever acceptable is in wrestling when there's a ladder match or a chair match and both guys hit each other with the chair at the same time.
It would be both guys are on the chair at the same time and hit each other.
And
with
they
the chair
both
at
hit
the
each
same
other
time.
and they both knock each other out. That's the only time.
Only
a
if
tie
it's
is
the Dudley
acceptable.
Boys and the Hardy Boys. It's the only
Yeah.
time a tie is acceptable.
Or demolition.
Or
monsters. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What a freaking week. All right. What are we doing? What are we doing?
What we're doing first, guy, is called the weekend
sounds like-
roundup, and I don't know if you can round up any more points because we have a lot of scoring going on in the NFL. In fact, so many points that we don't even care how games end if there's a winner or loser. We just want scoring and excitement nonstop. But for our weekend roundup, Dave, you are gonna head this segment, and what's the weekend roundup? Tell us about it.
Two games I want to talk about. Well, actually, first one I want to say the Chargers. It used to be that West Coast teams, if they had to go to the East Coast, it would spell bad luck just because their bodies aren't used to playing that early and whatnot. I sort of thought maybe the outcome of the Giants game was partly that, plus going from LA all the way to New York. And then you look at the roundup and then you're reminded, oh yeah, not only were they without their left tackle who they lost in the preseason, then they lost Joe Alt to a high ankle sprain. He might be facing the IR. Mekhi Becton, who they signed off of Philly last year, who resurrected his career playing at guard, he wasn't able to play because he's in the concussion protocol. So now you have the 3-0 Justin Herberts running for his life because he's facing a 40% pressure rate against that pass rush that the Giants were able to bring.
They got a decent line on the Giants.
Oh, yeah, the Giants have that exciting line. And if you can't protect Herbert, it can go bad awful quick. Ladd McConkey wasn't able to do much. The rookie running back, Hampton, he finally got his big run. That looked exciting. But it's got to be awful scary if you're a Chargers fan. What a difference 1 week can make when you lose your second tackle. You're supposed to have one of the best tackles in the league. Cheers to the Giants. They got their win. It was exciting with the rookie quarterback. Scary about Neighbors, though. He's on my dynasty team, and I'm just looking forward to the draft in 2027 because I traded away my 26th first. So good news for the Giants. They're excited. Their running back looks great. The human brick wall. Scadaboo. Oh, yeah. So
him and Dart are an interesting combination because Dart's actually pretty quick. And I liked how the Giants actually ran up some actual running plays for Dart, on purpose. Might as well use his athleticism. And then you got Scadaboo, who just wants to run into people. So yeah, it's kind of a nice little balance. I liked what the Giants did. Jackson Dart looked pretty good. I mean,
and he's 6'2", so he's not 6'4", but he's tallish.
Who, Scadaboo or Jackson Dart?
Jackson Dart.
That's not tall enough for your requirement.
No, it's not. But he's the one exception to the rule.
I don't think so. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
No, but it at least might have saved his head coach's job at least for another couple of weeks. And it was great how they ran the same play with him that they tried with Russell Wilson last week, and Russell looked awful on the read option.
Yeah.
And, he's younger, faster, quicker. It's a lot more excitement. And even if you think you're only going to be a 6 or 7 win team this season with a rookie quarterback, it's going to be a hell of a lot more exciting to go to the games. You're looking forward to buying a Giants jersey.
Yeah, have him run a college offense. Make it exciting. Run a triple option. He looks like he can do it, so why not?
Yep.
And then the other game I want to touch on is, I got to ask you, you said that if a certain team kept it close against the Rams, that maybe they'd get your respect. They were tied in the fourth quarter, despite Indiana Jones throwing a pick on his first drive. He tried throwing a pick on his second drive. Fortunately, the defender dropped it. But did he crumble like the New York Giants, Daniel Jones? No, my friend. He came back. He persevered. The whole team, even after Adonai Mitchell fumbled it in transitioning it from one hand to the other after that amazing play. Even after Adonai Mitchell negated a long Jonathan Taylor run with a holding that was not necessary, another touchdown that was negated. Despite those miscues, they were still in the game. So
They
even
should
though
have
they
won the
lost,
game.
exactly, they should have won the game. So are you going to say that they're a good team?
No, they should have won. They screwed themselves. Honestly, yeah, the Colts played really well that game, and they made some errors. Kind of the theme of the weekend that I noticed was that teams were shooting themselves in the foot. Whatever team shot themselves in the foot more, I mean, which is normally a theme, but it seemed like a lot this weekend. There was a lot of mental errors, a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad turnovers. I mean, the Adonai Mitchell thing is just crazy. The way that he made that awesome catch and then goes into the end zone, fumbles it out of the like. How often does that ever happen, right? So
Jonathan Taylor did that last year.
Yeah, no, I think the Colts are good. I think I'll admit the Colts are good. They're definitely like a contender to make the playoffs, but I still think the Jaguars are taking that division. I don't know why. I like the Jags at 3-1 to win that division still. I need to see a little bit more of Daniel Jones, but you're right, Dave. He kind of looked gross to start the game, and he didn't deteriorate. He actually got back into it. So that's a really good sign. I think that has a lot to do with the coaching in Indianapolis as well. So, yeah, I think the Colts can play with the good teams now. So they did a good job in that game. I agree.
And on the other side of that game, we also had the league MVP, Puka Nacua, who's on pace for 200 receptions, 3,000 yards, 80 touchdowns.
3,000 yards.
That's all.
No, he looked amazing. And, you know, we said it before the season, Matthew Stafford, he hyper targets. And granted, it's not necessarily just hyper targets. He has also thrown it to Devontae Adams, who was questionable with the injury. But they also, one of the issues that the Colts have, they have a solid defense, but their number 2 cornerback is kind of iffy. He's actually pretty bad. And what happens is veteran quarterback, smart coach, they go after that. And if you can go out with Puka Nacua, why wouldn't you? Chardavius Ward, he grades out great. He did awesome. But Green Bay had the same problem where they have a weak second DB. A smart head coach, call a smart game plan. You go after that with a stud wide receiver, and it can be your kryptonite. But the Colts should at least be able to get to the playoffs. Might be able to win a game. I think it's exciting.
They literally can just Nacua is going to get so much yards. They only need his yards. Like the rest of the team could just get like 1 yard a game. I mean, he almost is on track for 3,000 yards right now. Like,
he has
play
42
tight end
receptions. 42 receptions. That's
he can. What? I wonder what position on offense is he going to play quarterback at some point too? Like he could play tight end for them, wide receiver, slot, running back.
This is why Matthew Stafford's wide receivers get hurt all the time. Like that's way too much usage after 4 games, and he threw to Devontae Adams 4 times.
And got a touchdown for me
15 times. Like he hyper targets like a madman. It's insane.
Because he's a genius.
Well, it works until your receiver gets hurt, which is Puka's going to get hurt. That's 42 times that he, let's say he got caught the ball out of bounds a couple times. So he's already been hit 30 some times, which is probably more than like whole teams of receivers at this point, right? Because Stafford also throws it in a lot of positions where his receivers, take a lick here and there. So yeah, dude.
Nacua himself has gotten 26 first downs this year so far. Just
watch Puka Nacua have like 2,200 yards after like game 11, and then get hurt for the rest of the season, right? Like
he's gonna have 3,000 receiving yards. Like
break the record.
He's gonna be like a quarterback. Like it's gonna be him and Caleb Williams, who has more yards. Is gonna be or Jordan Love.
I would love to see Puka Nacua get an MVP, but you know what's sad is if Puka had 3,000 yards, they'd still give it to Stafford. They'd give Stafford the MVP or something.
I don't know because the rest of the team's going to have 0 yards, so it's going to be.
Did Cooper Kupp get the MVP?
Nope.
No.
And he had record-breaking.
No, but the difference is Puka Nacua is tall and he runs guys over. This is the Jared Allen effect. When you turn on the screen and you just see Jared Allen just stiff arming a guy and walking into the end zone, you're just kind of like, guy looks like an MVP. He just looks like one. Like what are you gonna do against that guy? So now Puka Nacua is pulling a Josh Allen, where he's just like anything you do and he's just running guys over, running past them. I don't even know. I've never seen a wide receiver do this before, where he just can pretty much do anything he wants and he just keeps scoring.
Do you guys remember Eddie from the A-Team?
Oh yeah, they brought him on
like
at the end.
sidekick guy. Somebody
Yep.
said Puka Nacua looks like Eddie from the A Team, and I can't get it out of my head now. So good old Eddie.
Probably related.
Yeah, he's like, that's how he's treated though. He's so good, but they'll never give him an MVP. They would give it to Stafford. They would definitely give it to Stafford. I'm looking at them both right now. Yeah, I can kind of see the resemblance.
He's third on the team in rushing yards, guys, with 52 yards.
He's also second on the team in passing yards, like everybody else.
He's tied. Hey, he's first on the team in touchdowns. He's literally tied with rushing touchdowns, number one, with one touchdown.
That's hilarious.
He's literally number one on the team in every category you could want.
All right. So what other games were we looking at? Doug, what did you look at this weekend? What did you look at?
Oh, it's funny. The Rams is the team I was going to talk about. We already kind of are. But okay, so Devontae Adams he looks good. Visually, he doesn't look that slow. He looks kind of just like normal Devontae Adams at this stages in his career. He got a couple touchdown passes. It's kind of funny this weekend. I'm flipping around between games. I'm having some on the screen, like split screens. Every time I turn the game back and forth, it was the Colts screwing up, like throwing a pick or the fumble in the end zone, or it was the Rams doing something amazing. So I'm just like shocked that it was close at the end because it looks like the Rams are dominating. But and especially if you look at the Rams, like if you look at like their, say their PFF grades or something, the Rams are performing well. Versus got a 91 overall at defensive end. They've got good players everywhere. Tutu Atwell's not even a starter, and he broke out in this crazy touchdown, right? Like he's so fast. Tyler Higbee's maybe the only guy they have at a position that's not like Pro Bowl level. Like they just have Pro Bowlers everywhere. Quarterback, offensive line's pretty decent. Even their safeties are playing well. Their cornerbacks are playing decent. Their edge rushers. I don't know. And they're such a different team than the Eagles. But right now, I'm thinking the Rams and the Eagles are the best teams in the NFC, and it's pretty obvious.
I mean, the Rams almost beat the Eagles in Philadelphia, and then they got the field goal block. So like. The Rams Eagles, I think it's pretty clear they're 1-2. And
I want all the attention on them and not the Packers, so the Packers can hopefully make a comeback and get back in the race. But like they don't do well when everyone thinks they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they definitely don't. As soon as they get a little bit of limelight, they fold.
But I was worried about the age of Stafford, of Devontae Adams and all this stuff. Stafford literally has like hyperbaric chambers and all this stuff for his back and everything.
Yeah.
But like if they can play well and block for him well enough, like, man, these wide receivers can do all the work. They don't need Stafford to run around or anything crazy. You just get the ball to these guys and stuff happens. Their running backs doing decently well. I think this is a typical Rams team where they're going to be in the running for the playoffs, and it just depends if they stay healthy, right? Because if Puka Nacua goes down, that's like 90% of their offensive yards.
Or Stafford, Puka Nacua or Stafford.
Or Stafford.
One good hit on Stafford, but luckily the way the McVay offense.
But Jimmy Garoppolo could just throw it to Nacua every play too.
I'm sure Jimmy would actually do fairly decent.
He could just throw it to Nacua every play also.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Jimmy, I think Jimmy would do okay. He'd throw like a pick or two per game, but I think
he could win a few games for him or something.
Yeah. All right.
How about what game did you like, Neckbeard?
Well, honestly, I think my takeaway from this weekend was like not necessarily a single game. It was just like the amount of mistakes and just completely disgusting turnovers and crazy errors that we haven't seen seemed on like a super high level this weekend. I mean, the Browns couldn't wait to lose that game. The Raiders couldn't wait to try to lose that game. Do you know what I mean? You could throw the Packers in there. They didn't make as many mistakes, but they made enough. The Vikings in their game basically, fumbled their way out of it and made a bunch of mental errors. It was just
the Steelers tried to give the game away too, but
the Steelers also tried to give
it was a battle for who could make the dumbest mistakes.
Yeah, it's almost like I expected this level of like kind of mess like the first 2 weeks, and by week 3 it should be better. But it was like at the highest level this week, right? So the mediocrity of mistakes. But the one thing I will say is that the Big Show, I was really hoping that he would beat the Eagles, and they got whomped. They got stomped down there in Tampa Bay. So I think the Buccaneers 3-0 start, where they basically had to grind out those 3 wins. I think they're still going to win their division, but the Buccaneers, the Eagles trounced them pretty good after, the Eagles and the Rams went head to head in Philadelphia, and that was really close. So I don't think the Bucks are as close to challenging as we thought, because that was a pretty dominant win by the Eagles.
Baker tried to bring him back at the end.
Did you look at Saquon's numbers?
Yeah.
They shut down the rushing attack pretty darn well. They got, the Eagles, they got all their points in the first half. The Bucks, last year they had a very terrible secondary where they were giving up record numbers seemingly of passing yards.
Right.
Hurts didn't complete a single pass in the second half.
He didn't have to, man. He didn't have to. So the Eagles defense has been the issue, right? Baker threw 40 times, Dave, for 289 yards, and he only had 22 receptions. So that's 22. That's a really low completion percentage. Bucky Irving, 15 carries for 63 yards, right? Bucky Irving also their number one receiver with 102 yards because he had that one long touchdown. So you take that long touchdown away, Dave, and Baker's stats are basically 39 passes for 200 yards. That's pretty bad.
Well, they're also out Mike Evans, and Godwin's coming back now. So
yeah, I'm just saying you don't have Evans. Godwin, it's his first game. But
in games like that, Mike Evans is a big deal, I think.
Everybody's got injuries, man. I mean,
Saquon only had 19 carries for 43 yards.
Okay, so
he only had 2.3 yards average.
Yeah. Dude, every game Saquon's been held in check, by the way. You know that, right? Every team has held Saquon in check. So
they're loading the box on him, right?
The Bucks also doing it is not impressive. Like, I'm sorry, everyone's held Saquon in check this year. What was bothering me?
Can you really say they dominated when Hurts only threw for 130 yards?
I mean, they were up by 3 scores. Dave, they were up by 3 scores in that game until the long Bucky Irving touchdown. It was a 3-score game. So, yeah, I count that as being dominated. In the second half, if you're up by 3 scores, that's a pretty big deal. So, I mean, I'm not saying the Bucks are terrible. I just thought it would be a lot better than it actually was. And Philadelphia 100% took their foot off the gas in this game, right? Because they were up by so much in the third quarter. And then the Bucks got, another 14 points on them or whatever after that. So, yeah, I don't think this game was ever in jeopardy, to be honest with you. Just to be completely honest, I don't think this game was ever.
Baker Mayfield's QBR is 22. That's really bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
He just didn't play well.
No.
Yeah, and Baker had an off day. That's going to happen.
And let's remember what won the Super Bowl last year was the Eagles' defense, not their offense. The Eagles' defense was dominating people, and they started slow. And even against the Rams, you saw signs of it. But I thought the defense in this game of Philadelphia was like considerably better than the Bucks. Now the Bucks are missing people, but everybody's missing people. So, that's just part of it. But anyway, that's the weekend roundup. Let's go to the next segment, which is one smart and one dumb. And man, I've got a lot of stuff I could talk about that's dumb, but I'll let Hype start it out. Hype, what did you see that was smart and dumb this weekend?
I think smart, the thing that really stood out was Jackson Dart. Like, I got to talk about Jackson Dart because I was not really a believer in him. He just looks like a college quarterback. But, like, hey, he looks like a college quarterback, and he just destroyed the Chargers with all these quick runs. He's a quick decision maker. He makes plays happen. And it kind of reminds me of Russell Wilson when he was young, where he's just like, he doesn't look like a world beater, but he's just making, of course, he's on the same team as him now. And Russell Wilson's slow. But he's just making quick decisions and just going and running when he needs to run and just being dynamic. And with a good Giants defense, their defensive line's great. Now without Neighbors in there, we'll see how well he does. But I think them drafting him over Shedeur Sanders and other quarterbacks was really a big risk that I thought. But now it looks like it might turn out to be a good decision. And so I got to admit that I might have been wrong about Jackson Dart. And he's the type of quarterback that can galvanize and get the team of New York behind him. And even if they don't win a lot of games, like we said earlier, even if they only win 6 or 7 games, the city of New York's going to love this guy and just the way he plays and stuff. So I think that was a smart decision. And Dave, I think you might have mentioned that like it might save the coaches and GM's job actually with Jackson Dart if he can continue this.
If he stays pretty good and they stay in games. I mean, those Ole Miss quarterbacks in New York, I guess, they just find a way. No, Jackson was good in that game. He was very aggressive running the ball. He was unafraid. And
he was making quick decisions.
Yeah, I thought he actually did pretty well. And that Chargers defense is no slouch. So yeah, that was actually a good performance. But I think I need to see it 3 or 4 weeks because I'm not going to fall into the same trap everybody fell in with JJ McCarthy after like 10 minutes of playing good. Do you know what I mean? Now Jackson played good for more than 10 minutes, but it's one game. Let's see what he does in the next couple of weeks. Dude,
well, the thing too is their offensive line isn't that great, so having a drop back quarterback, you know what I mean, wouldn't work so well. So it just might be a good fit for them for at least for now, for them to honestly, do something about it.
Every offense is different with the mobile quarterback, but Russ is so old and slow and just slow to make reads and slow to make decisions and slow to throw the ball that like having a quick young guy in there completely transitions the Giants offense. And I think that's exactly what they needed. So yeah, I agree. All right. What was the dumb thing you noticed this weekend?
The Ravens and Packers defense. Obviously there's a slow start situation here. Thank God the Ravens are taking some of the attention away from the Packers defense, playing pretty poorly this week. The Ravens, though, like they just let the Chiefs just like run all over them and look like the Chiefs from like 4 years ago. And you did mention that they usually start slow and get better as the season goes, but they just looked bad as a defense. And that's supposed to be your identity. Like if you had a decent defense, you could be with their offense and dynamic quarterback, they could be beating anybody. But Lamar Jackson even looks like human at times now because they have so much pressures on him to have to like score 40 points a game, right? And this is maybe why people didn't vote for him for MVP last year, where it's like when you really have to win certain games against big teams in the playoffs, sometimes you can't do it. But yeah, and the Packers have the same thing where they looked really, really good. Then they just look like they're trying too hard, missing tackles, doing all this stuff. And it's early in the season, but defenses are supposed to be better early in the season, right? Because offenses are still trying to find their identity and figure out what they're doing. So both of these teams are super dumb from just like going away from whatever their focus is and their kind of identity on defense. And the Packers' identity was keep everything in front of you and just don't miss tackles and just keep your head up and you're going to be fine because we got speed everywhere. But they just kept overrunning people and over trying. The Ravens are just not covering anybody or doing anything or tackling anybody. So they should probably do that.
They have no pass rush at all. They're missing 3 of their starting defensive linemen. Like they're missing their middle linebacker. They're missing 2 cornerbacks. So like, again, every team has injuries, but I think I saw that the Ravens are missing 6 starters on defense. Yep. That's rough. That's a lot. So, but they've still been the worst defense in the NFL. So like, I'm not going to say
Jair was a nice signing, but I don't think he's really helping them that much. I don't think he's the same Jair as he used to be.
Yeah, he's not healthy either. He's not even. Yeah, he's not doing.
But
anything.
At the same time, they've also faced 3 Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah,
that's the tough part. It's no one else has had a schedule like this. Yeah, and they've looked bad, but historically, they first half of the season, I think I saw they're usually like 20 to 25th as far as the defense. And then the last half of the season, they crank it up and then they get to be top 10, top 8. So
I still think Ravens are making the playoffs. I think, they're going to squeak in maybe 11-6, right? Or something like that. Maybe even 10-7 they squeak in. But like, I don't think the Ravens are terrible. I think they're going through it right now, but Lamar Jackson is still incredibly good.
They'll still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just don't.
They got the Browns and the Bengals to beat.
If Hall of Famer Derrick Henry doesn't fumble the ball, they could be 3-1 right now.
They could be.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not all dire straits. Even with their defense playing terrible, like, it's just these small things, maybe.
But also, they shouldn't need Derrick Henry to be a Superman every game. They have a great, you know what I mean? If the defense played decent, it wouldn't even matter.
I think there'll be less pressure on Lamar and Derek and a lot less situations like that once the defense gets back to more of what Baltimore does.
I mean, they had a full-down meltdown on the sideline like they just lost a playoff game, Derek.
I mean, being 1-3 is not fun. Nobody wants to be 1-3, especially
but they have an easy division, division.
What, 2 games all last year, or was it 3 games? I think they lost 3 games all of last year, and they've already lost 3 this year. So, yeah, that's frustrating. I mean, you saw when the Chiefs were 0-2, they were about to eat each other alive. So, it happens to everybody. But yeah, the Ravens defense is gross right now, and I forgive them for that. Like Dave said, tough schedule. Most of the starters are out.
I'm just trying to combine the Packers and Ravens together so people believe.
And the Packers look good for 3 weeks, and then this week they just got. Like Dallas figured them out. Dak figured them out. Dak shredded them up. Dak didn't even break a sweat. And let's hope that's the
But I
the
think
one-off
both
instead of
defenses
the norm.
can get back to being decent defenses.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. They got the pieces.
yeah. There's definitely opportunity there. What about you, Dave? What was smart and what was dumb this weekend?
Smart head coaches with veteran quarterbacks exploiting the weak second DB, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Dallas, they're getting thrown around, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, let's just throw it at Pickens and let's go after Valentine.
Yeah.
And so that's what helped them that's where he is making big plays. Don't get me wrong. His one where he sort of a jump ball, he catches it, his body had to go limp at the 2. He got hit by the safety and the DB. That was a ridiculous play, but there are other ones where it was just obviously poor DB play. Or Valentine, you can get him if you have a little bit of time. And again, same thing for the Colts. Their number 2 cornerback, he was just getting roasted all day. You had Matthew Stafford, you had a good wide receiver. Smart coaches, smart quarterbacks, it makes a whole world of difference. So that was a smart thing. The dumb thing, I believe that if the play has the same effect as an incomplete pass from a yardage standpoint, you shouldn't have a nice shiny stat to go with it. So
wait, talking about the Parsons sack?
Yeah,
yes.
Come on.
He did not lose a yard. And they gave him credit for a sack. You have to at least lose a yard in order for it to count as a sack, I would say.
Whatever. Give the kid a sack. He ran down from behind, stopped him from
he had a great game. Don't get me wrong. I think I saw in one article where PFF said he had 10 quarterback pressures. He had a great game, but it wasn't a sack.
If these effing quarterbacks can get a touchdown, tossing the ball half a yard to a receiver who then runs an end around and gets a touchdown and then get a bullshit touchdown stat, I don't give a fuck how many sacks they give out. You can trip on me for all I care.
Now,
I better get a goddamn
to Dave's
sack.
credit, while the play happened, no one thought it was a sack because it looked like it was right at the line of scrimmage. So you didn't
I didn't think it was a sack either. But I literally don't give a shit about the stat. Yeah, I don't give a shit about the stat.
But then Collinsworth said, "Oh, if he doesn't tackle him there, it would have saved a touchdown." And I'm like, Cooper was right there to stop him before.
But Cooper also missed like 8 tackles before that.
Yeah,
that
has a head of steam. He's only got to get about 3 yards. Even if Edge tackles him, there's no guarantee his momentum doesn't take him in. So no, that was a good play. It was a good play.
Oh, it was a good play. It just wasn't a sack.
I think it's worth 2 sacks. How about that?
But it's true though. While everyone was watching the play, everyone collectively was like, "I don't think that was a sack, right?" Like that because it looks like it was. It looked like he might even have gotten a yard.
Yeah, I thought it was like positive half a yard.
Yeah, like a positive half yard or something.
Who cares? Whatever.
Basically, he could have dropped back. He could have thrown an incomplete pass. The ball's at the same spot. He didn't lose anything. So just
you should go to the ownership meetings and tell them that.
It's just a fucking stat.
Can I show up with one of my parents' Packers owner certificates?
So all right. Well, here's a fun. Well, what about? Okay, so I'll throw this out in the Packer game. I thought maybe the best play that Jordan Love made in that game was when he looks like he was going to run the ball and scramble, and then he threw it to the side to Jacobs, who was wide open, and Jacobs got a touchdown. Now, since Jordan Love threw it like a quarter of an inch backwards, it counts as a running touchdown.
It was really like a full yard backwards.
Yeah,
but yeah,
instead of a passing touchdown. But that was 100% a great play by Jordan Love, and he got no stats out of it. So, like, stats don't mean shit. They just, like,
but he has a highlight reel play that looks awesome.
Parsons had 7 sacks in the game. Okay,
you got to realize my team hasn't made the playoffs except once every 10 years. Stats are the only thing I got.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I understand. Point conceded. Okay.
We may even get 4,000 yards passing. Who the heck?
So honestly, my smart thing was actually kind of the same on kind of what Dave was saying, and it's all kind of quarterback related. Is I thought the Dallas passing game, I think the plan against the Packers defense, the Dallas passing game, the quick game, the double teaming, the rolling Dak away from them, basically challenging Gary and Van Ness to do anything, and then knowing that we're playing a drop 3 zone for the Packers and just quick pass, demanding that the cornerbacks make a play, which they couldn't. I thought the Dallas game plan was extremely good.
It was one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I thought Dak was basically seeing the field. Like Dak, he's a veteran, so he was seeing the field really, really well. I don't think Dak made a single mistake in that game. I'm trying to think of like a bad play Dak made or like a mistake or whatever. I think Dak played basically a perfect game. So yeah, I thought the Dallas offensive game plan was really, really smart. I want to give them credit. I was hating on the Packers defense a little bit, but sometimes you got to give kudos, and Dallas's offense has been good pretty much all year. And I just thought they were next to perfect, or at least Dak was next to perfect in that game. So
And they
kudos to
caused the
them.
Green Bay defense to play way too in their own head and like trying too hard.
I think so. I mean, I've never seen it look so easy. It just looked easy because Dak was on fire. Even when he was rolling out and falling over, he threw like that perfect sideline pass.
Oh,
and
that
his
was
guy
sick.
came back and got it, right? That was sick. Yeah. And then the Pickens one too.
There was a bunch of catches like that.
Perfect placement. Yeah. Dak had like
Dallas is a finesse team, and it's all quickness and speed. And the Packers are used to playing just normal teams. And so, like, you know, when Valentine came up and missed that tackle, they were just you know, over aggressive, and they needed to just play smart. And hopefully they learn a lesson. But other teams aren't going to. I mean, they do have very quick guys on Dallas. They're very finesse.
No, and I love Dak, but Dak makes a lot of mistakes. Again, he came in the game with 4 interceptions. You know what I mean? Like he gets rattled. But I just think that game he was consistently like on it. And maybe it was the Parsons thing because he was tired of hearing how bad they were getting rid of Parsons. And not because he dislikes Parsons, but just because like no football player wants to hear that. They're like, oh, you're no good because we lost this guy. So I think Dak was 100% up for it, and I think he was locked in.
Yeah, this was their Super Bowl this year. They're like, if we beat Mike,
we
look smart.
Oh, no, it's not a little bit. Well, what happened to Favre's development? He had Sterling Sharp all those years, and he threw to one guy. He took Sterling away. Then he was forced to throw to everyone else, and that's when he started throwing to 7 wide receivers in the first quarter. That's what happened here. He didn't have CD, so then he had to start using Turpin and Sanders. And the coach, he drew up a smart game plan to get Turpin involved. I never even heard of him until yesterday. A 28-year-old wide receiver, but he looked good.
Yeah, he's gotten a few decent plays in this year so far.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Dak was good before they drafted CD too. So, like, I think he's been feeding CD because other than Ferguson, they don't have a lot of options. They got Pickens this year, and now we fed Pickens, right? So, like, I think if they didn't have Pickens, it might have been a completely different game.
Turpin, that guy actually had more targets than George Pickens this season so far. So Dak has been good at moving the ball around in theory. Because people thought George Pickens was going to go off, but he waited till, you know, this game or the last one to go off a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was your smart. What was your dumb?
I think my dumb team is like teams playing man coverage that have no business playing man coverage. Ravens, I'm calling you out. I think we kind of have the same theme. It's like if your defense is hurt and like you can't get to the quarterback, sometimes you just got to sit back and take it, man. And like I saw a lot of teams this weekend trying to play man coverage and just getting torched time after time after time after time. Man coverage, obviously you want to call it sometimes, but like the way the NFL offenses are these days, like you got to have the personnel to play man coverage. You just have to have the right personnel. And if you don't have that personnel, then it's a big problem. Dallas is a good example of that, right? In the Bears game when they were playing man and the Bears absolutely torched them. And I mean, the Packers threw up 40 last night too. Love played great, but I mean, he was taking advantage of that man coverage. Like, sometimes you guys just need to call the right defense. So I'm basically calling out teams, basically defensive coordinators for just not understanding what their teams are capable of right now. It is early in the season. You want to confuse guys. You want to make it difficult. Now, to be fair, there were defensive coordinators that had really good games. I thought the Giants defensive coordinator had a fantastic game. I mean, a big part of that is because the Chargers offensive line was a little bit off, but you could see Herbert never really got in a rhythm. Right. Herbert was never really able to like establish connections with Vlad McConkey, like you said. And I thought the Giants defensive coordinator actually had a really good game. I also think, crazy enough, the Jags defense, guys, I don't think I've said this in a long time. The Jags defensive plan was really good. Purdy's first game back, you expect him to have a really good game. He didn't look great. And I thought the Jags defensive game plan was actually really good. There was a couple plays where they let McCaffrey get loose, but I mean, that's going to happen. It's Christian McCaffrey. You can't hold him in forever, but I was actually really impressed with the Jags game plan. So as much as I think some defensive coordinators got it wrong this week, I think there were other defensive coordinators that kind of surprised me that did a really good job this week. So shout out to the Jags for that really good game plan and the Giants and the rest of you guys who are trying to play man when you shouldn't be. This is the time to figure it out. By week 3, week 4, you guys need to figure it out. So hopefully they get that sorted out. Pick the right defense. You're not always going to get it right, but know what your personnel can do. All right, that is one smart and one dumb. Let's move on to the next section, the one I'm dreading, the Packers and Bears talk. Dave, go ahead. Just go ahead, Dave.
Dave, you can talk as much as you want.
Yeah, man. I don't even think I have it in me to talk about that game right now. So go ahead, Dave.
Special teams matter. Special teams is what can turn the tide, even
They're
when you
very
think you're
special.
getting, even when you're just got your butt kicked 13-0, when you just gave up 180 yards on the first 3 drives. Special teams comes out. It's a little bit of momentum, but still, it got in. You were worried that, on that last drive and in overtime that it would be in the kicker's head that, oh God, this one's going to get blocked again. I don't recall the last time I saw an extra point get blocked in return for 2.
It's been years.
Yeah.
I turned on the game and I'm like, how the hell did they get a safety?
It doesn't even happen in video games. Like, it's just such a rare thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it got blocked, and then like even in the Cleveland game, it got blocked and it just shot backwards and it went right to the Cleveland guy. And in this one, he blocks it and it bounces perfectly to a Dallas defender. And he's like, cool, thanks. And he just runs it. And it's just like, not only did it get blocked, but both times it bounced right to one of their guys, like perfectly. And I'm just like, yeah, man, like our special teams are just absolutely cursed. They're just cursed.
And don't get me wrong, the Dallas kicker, he's a bit of a unicorn. Nobody can kick like him, distance-wise or as far as the accuracy. For the new exciting kickoff, whatever, him pinning, and it's weird. It feels weird to say pinning Green Bay back at the 20 when that just used to be.
But he did. No, that's huge.
But he did. Yeah, like nobody else is able to do it quite like him. There's maybe 3 other teams that can be kind of good at it, but not at his level. He is a distinct advantage at the Cowboys.
Well, I thought it was really smart of him as well. But by the 3rd time he did it and the Packers didn't anticipate it or make any adjustments at all, I was like, okay, he's trying this out against our special teams because he knows they're trash. Because he hasn't done this against other teams. You see what I'm saying? Because they might adjust, run up, catch it closer, and then get a ton of yards. Our special teams are like, oh, God, please don't explode. Like, I'm just going to catch the ball and make sure that it doesn't turn into a touchdown for them because that's the best that I can hope for. Because
we're one step above the Steelers. At least we can do that.
So not only did he get to test it out against us, he got to test it out again and again and again, and we didn't make any adjustments whatsoever because, if we do make an adjustments on special teams, it somehow gets worse.
There's something we should know about special teams. We keep on getting pissed at Rick Bisaccia, who is the special teams coach, but LaFleur decides what players he's allowed to bring on special teams. So, Luke Musgrave being there, and this is the thing. In the beginning of the game and other games, they were putting in backups. Like Elton Jenkins is not on that team. As soon as Luke Musgrave just decided not to block 2 guys and just let him run right past him, they switched and started putting as many starters as possible on the kick unit because they're like, oh, maybe that's important. So as much as Rich Bisaccia gets a lot of heat, LaFleur probably should be taking even more heat because he needs to oversee that and make sure. Especially after we already had that happen against the Browns, dude.
Dude, seriously. I said it in the video I made last night in the reaction video that, like, when we got Rich Bisaccia, who was probably one of the highest, candidates for
he's the highest paid special teams coordinator in the league.
He was rated or at least respected as one of the best. And we've gotten better on special teams, and we're still one of the worst. That's how bad it was before Bisaccia. We're an embarrassment, but we were an embarrassment to embarrassments before he even got there. So that's on LaFleur. He obviously doesn't think special teams are important. And I can tell you right now, every single Super Bowl winner that I can remember has had a pretty damn good special teams unit. So if you don't think that's important, maybe you're not paying attention to the NFL because those Chiefs teams had great special teams. Eagles had great special teams plays last year. The Patriots in the 2000s always had amazing special teams, right? Okay. So like special teams are a huge game decider when games are close. And when your special teams are trash, it's your own damn fault, LaFleur. It's your fault. Figure it out. No,
I wonder if they'll bring up Mecole Hardman from the practice squad because he's like a tried and true kick and punt returner that like kind of knows what he's doing. So they might just say, "Hey, we need to like."
I would like to see that because Golden's little catch spin where he got smacked.
That was awful.
I'm proud of him for not fumbling. I'm proud of him for not fumbling, but like I do not like him back there. I do not like him back there.
On Good Morning Football, right when they show that highlight, they said on kick and punt returns, never hit the circle button.
Yeah,
Don't hit the
seriously.
circle
Yeah,
button.
It was a
that is
perfect
an
example
excellent
of how
He turned around
point.
and
And
then
I've
boom.
done that,
That's
man,
what
and I
happens in
have gotten
Madden.
smashed. Yeah, that's true. That's
But
100%
it's a
true.
perfect metaphor for how the Packers play the game. They're just like, let me do this cool move, and then they just smash in
Yeah.
the face. Yeah.
No, Golden really wanted to make a play. He did. That's why when he got that one ball, he tried to run it back around like he was in Madden, right? Which does not
Right.
work.
Yeah,
in the
he's
NFL.
trying to look cool and make
Yeah,
big plays.
he was back home in Texas. Dude wants the ball. I get it. He's a rookie. He's excited. He really wants to get the ball. He's slowly working his way into this offense. He's just got to be a little patient. The Packers are not the type of team that takes a rookie receiver and just throws to them like they're Puka Nacua. Do you know what I mean? We don't do that. Like, you work your way into it. You work your way.
One day
up the
Matthew
depth
Golden
chart.
could maybe touch
Yeah.
Puka
Well,
Nacua's
yeah,
he
so-
was second on the team in targets with 6.
No, he was. And that's what I'm saying.
and,
It's
and
like
he
he's
caught 5 of them
slowly
for 58. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and every
fourth down
single
catch.
game he's getting a few more and a few more and a few more touches. So he just needs to be patient. But I think
Matthew
he really
Golden has a great hands and speed, but the rest
Yes.
of his decision making and stuff where you have to.
Yeah, he'll
work it
get
out.
there, dude.
But
I'm not
part of
worried
it-
about him.
The tough part about that is he had 5 catches for 58 yards. His longest was 46.
Because Dave,
So his
3 of
others
those
were 4 for 12. Yeah.
3 of those were screens because
Yeah.
they were just throwing
Behind
those
line
quick
of scrimmage,
screens,
so you like
which
lost
don't
yards.
work that great because even though the first 2 guys will block, he's got 1 or 2 guys there ready to tackle him. And he's not a running back. Like, he's not the type of wide receiver that misses a bunch of tackles. I've noticed he'll miss like 1, but then he gets tackled after 3 or 4 yards. So
That's
yeah,
what, if
don't
you're going to
really
do
like
a wide
those
receiver screen, do what Alabama did on Saturday. Throw a big
But-
fat bastard out there. I think he looked like a D lineman. I only saw the highlights.
Yep.
I didn't look at it too closely.
Yep.
Big fat bastard. He caught the ball and he's just rolling over DBs. Even if they're
Dude.
NFL DBs, you're going to get 5-10 yards.
I
I just
100%
love that
agree with you because you should throw it to that fat bastard once and then fake it to him. And then the guys pretend like they're blocking and go deep, when everyone comes up to tackle the fat guy, right? Like,
Oh,
be
yeah.
creative. I would love to see I don't know, like Colby Wooden catch a pass out there. or
Oh,
something
that'd be
like that.
fun.
One of our D tackles. Yeah, that would be great. So,
Or you can just throw
yeah.
it to Tucker Kraft and he'll run guys over. They barely threw it to him all
Dude,
game.
the
Like,
only
yeah.
person I want to see get screen passes is either Jacobs or Kraft. That's it. Stop throwing them to wide receivers. Like, stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it, LaFleur. You're overdoing it to the point where everybody knows it's going to happen now. It's not like a secret. You throw like 6 or 7 a game. So,
But
yeah.
I do also want to highlight one. There was another good spot in there. Jacobs, he's a man. He made some great runs. He helped to save them in
did.
the second half. But
Yep.
Emmanuel Wilson, he's just fun to watch.
Yeah, he
So
runs
if
really
anything-
hard.
Yeah, 8 carries, 44 yards. He looked great last year. He looks great again this year. He doesn't get enough attention, but I just want to throw a little bit of love. Wilson's a fantastic running back.
Yeah, I really like him as a backup. And what's funny is he barely got any touches until this week. He must have been like nicked up or something.
It's because Brooks is such a good pass blocker.
Yeah, that's true. Brooks
That's
is a
what,
good
and
pass
Brooks is
blocker.
pretty good, decent runner too. So like they put him in there all the time.
Yeah, but Wilson, as far as like when he runs the ball, like I have a lot of faith in him to get 3 or 4
Mhm.
yards because he runs tough and he's pretty quick. So
Brooks literally can block defensive tackles. Like that's how he good at it. He's like
Yeah.
he's like elite level pass blocker.
yeah,
and
Brooks
sometimes
is
they
like
need
a
that.
small fullback. So like
Yeah.
he's
And because
almost
the
like a
offensive
throwback.
line's terrible, they need him in the game a lot.
Yeah, just put him right behind Jenkins. And honestly, dude, like the Packers offense was great. Jordan Love, I think, made only one mistake that whole game because I don't blame the fumble on him. He's,
Right.
his pocket presence is actually pretty good. And, he just reaches back and the defensive lineman just gets a hand on his arm. Ball comes out. Of course, we don't recover it because we never recover fumbles. So, like, I don't blame him for that. He had 0 picks. I don't think he had a single pass that was like off target by more than like a little bit, right? Like all of his passes were on target.
Yep.
He made a really good run on a 3rd down that helped us on a drive that was like 3rd and 9, and he just got the first
He
down.
broke an
He
arm
made that play to
tackle, yeah.
Jacobs. Both passes to Dobbs all 3 passes to Dobbs in the end zone were like right in the exact right spot
Right.
you want them to be. Those were all fucking perfect dots. The one he threw to Golden to start the game was a really good throw. I thought Golden, I don't know why he fell over, but he fell over.
Also, that
like,
4th down at near the end of the game was
Yes.
perfect because it was low enough where no one
Yes.
could bat it down or whatever.
Yes.
And Golden just
Yep, absolutely. You're right. That was a really good throw. I forgot about that. We converted a 4th down. So I thought Jordan Love had like basically an A game, almost an A plus. The only thing that I would take away from Jordan Love is in the last drive of the game where we seemed like we didn't want to get a touchdown, and he threw. And again, I'm not saying we actually did that. I don't like how they weren't running to the line and they didn't. I don't like how they were taking time off the clock. Like, who gives a shit? I know you want time to come off.
Let them have 20 seconds on the clock with whatever.
The touchdown is more important than the clock.
Because we'll be up by 4.
Yes, we screwed ourselves where we got one shot at the end zone because we're worried about time management when we're already losing. It's not like it was already a tie. We were already down by 3. Clock management is secondary to scoring, and it seemed like clock management was the principal thing on that drive. So when he throws it, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, if you assume that you're going to get the touchdown on that drive, if you're pushing for that touchdown, you don't give a damn because Dallas can't go and kick another field goal if they get
exactly. It doesn't matter if Aubrey kicks an 85-yarder. If you got 3.5 minutes left, even if you score with 1.5 minutes and Dallas goes and scores a touchdown, it is what it is. Like,
plus there's like a 30% chance we get the field goal blocked. So like, you know what I mean? Get it in the end zone.
Yeah, dude, no shit. So the only thing that I think that he was a little bit off is when he threw that pass to the running back, because he was getting pressure. He threw a dump off, and it's like, dude, at that point, just sail it into the second row. Like, throw it at the running back so you don't get intentional grounding, but sail it into the second row so that we stop the clock, because that cost us about 10 seconds. Yeah. And again, that 10 seconds would have been big, because the rest of the drive, we were basically running down the clock, and I do not like that mentality. I 100% blame Matt LaFleur for not telling them, just go fucking score, fuck the clock. Like, if we take off more time, great, but go fucking score a touchdown. And other than that, I'd honestly say almost A+. Like, that was one of the best games I've seen Jordan Love play. Again, it's against a terrible defense, but defense terrible or not, where he put the ball, where he decided to throw the ball, and his accuracy on the balls were really, really good in that game.
Especially since the offensive line was just getting their butts kicked. Even though
they were, but they weren't. I mean, there's always going to be pressure.
But they were getting pushed into his face. He couldn't step up in the pocket very well. It was uncomfortable for him the whole night.
And I'll give Kenny Clark credit. Like, Kenny Clark, which is what he does, he pushes the pocket. He doesn't get any sacks, but Kenny Clark was pushing the pocket back. He knows Elton
But
Jenkins,
the whole defensive line was. The offensive line just kept retreating and getting pushed.
Again, I don't think the offensive line was terrible in this game. I would say that they were below what we've seen because they've always been good, but I would not say the offensive line was terrible. But again, when they did make mistakes or when there was pressure, Love pretty much made the right move almost every time.
Part of it is because they did so many screen passes and moved Love around to do all this stuff is to negate that. If he had been in the pocket every play, he probably would have been sacked like 5 times.
Yeah. Well, his pressure rate wasn't that bad. But either way, Romeo Dobbs, bobblehead, which I think is a great nickname for Romeo Dobbs.
We gotta have
Dobbs, Bob Dobbs.
Now, can we talk about a team that knows how to win?
Yeah, we definitely can.
The Raiders? No. I mean, the fact that Gino tried to lose that game by 20 points and you guys barely pulled it out was pretty remarkable. I do have to say that.
But you also have to remember, this is the Bears. Last year, we had a lot of games where we were in it in the fourth quarter and we managed to lose it at the very end. We managed to choke it away. So, and it's totally justified. We got 2 interceptions and a fumble in the first half. Our offense only turned it into 6 points.
Yeah, that's
our offense sputtered. DeAndre said 14 carries, 38 yards, less than 3 yards to carry again. At this point, I don't see why don't we just try Roshan Johnson and Monangai, because Swift can't do squat.
Yeah,
maybe he's a pass blocker, but he's not getting anything done. And then we gave up 240 rushing yards. It's nice to see Ashton Genty finally had the breakout game everyone expected. Raheem Mostert got 4 carries for 62 yards.
Yeah,
so it looked like the Mostert from 2 years ago. So our rush defense stunk. Geno Smith handled us the game. But, man, just out there, Max Crosby looked like a beast. He single-handedly tried to take over that game, and he almost did. And even Caleb had to say he is by far the best player I have played against in my NFL career.
Wow.
He messed stuff up, but it was nice to see. It was just nice to see Chicago when we came back, got the go ahead, and then the Raiders, they came down and we were able to block it for once.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys just blocked a field goal to win that game too, which is crazy, right? Like that actually is crazy. Another field goal block. So so
special teams matter.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Special teams won, I think, 6 games this year now, right? With either blocks or like
Oh
turnovers
yeah,
or whatever.
at least 6 games, I think.
Yeah, that's a huge amount. That's a huge amount. And so the Bears, Caleb had 37 passes for 212 yards. Their total yards per play was at one point in the game 2.8 yards until they got like a couple big plays at the end. So they did get better at the end, which is a positive sign if you're a Bears fan. But yeah, Max Crosby was owning the entire Bears offense, which is kind of weird. And then they did end up coming through with they made their field goal. They blocked the other one. So yeah, good job, Bears. 2-2. Somehow behind us in the standings, but I don't.
We have as many wins as you, but we didn't kiss our sister. So
No, you did
we
not.
didn't get a tie.
No, you just kiss your grandma every single year, which is okay, I guess.
Yeah, PFF grades were not very good for the Bears. They were pretty.
No, they were awful, dude. If you watched the
ugly.
game, the Bears were disgusting in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Gino gave it to them. The Raiders should have been up by 20 points at halftime. It should have been a blowout, but Gino kept screwing it up. And then the Bears pass defense, to their credit, though, I thought did a pretty good job. I thought the Bears pass defense.
And Ashton Genty did have his breakout game. He scored pretty well, rated high.
I mean, the Raiders ran for, what was it, Dave? 267 in that game?
240 yards. They averaged 7.7 yards per carry.
Wow. Dude. Okay.
That's not good.
But it's Chip Kelly. What does he like to do? He likes to run the ball, and he doesn't know how to call a passing game. That was his problem with the Eagles before. That's what he did in college. And so Geno Smith, he was good when he had a coordinator that knew how to play to his strengths. Chip Kelly is the classic coach where you got to play my scheme, and Geno isn't a fit. Chip Kelly is not a good coach. He is a very scheme specific. McVay adjusted their offense. McVay adjusted their offense to the strengths of their team. Chip Kelly is the opposite type. So
you know, what else I saw, Dave, that I liked is like I actually saw Kyle Monungai get a couple rushes and he got stuffed on two, but there was one where he looked really quick and dynamic, like out of the backfield. I hope he starts getting more carries from Swift, because Swift, as good as he is, he's so good at straight line speed, but I don't think he's as good at like side to side quickness as Monungai is. And I'd like to see Monungai get a couple more.
Yeah, he had a 70 PFF grade.
Monungai did?
Yeah, the best on the team by far.
Yeah, he had two good
Swift
runs.
is an athlete. He's not a running back.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He's more of a track star. He doesn't know how to read. He doesn't know how to read blocks. He doesn't know how to set up blocks. Right. He's just there.
Yeah, no, he's still, I mean, he's good, but he's just, I think that's a good way to put it is like, yeah, like I said, he's straight line speed. He's not quickness side to side, which is really what you want out of a running back. Like straight line speed on a running back is much less important than quickness, I feel like. And
because what's Bijan's selling card? It isn't quick. It isn't straight line quickness. It's watching him dance around in there.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, he's like modern day Barry Sanders. Not quite as good as Barry, but Barry was the man.
There never will be.
But dude, Bijan just makes people miss without trying it. He makes it look easy. Like that's why he is so good. That's why he had 170 total yards again. I think this week combined yards 170 for Bijan. Yeah, he's next level, man. From Tucson, where I live. Shout out to Bijan, Tucson native, man. So yeah, he's dope, dude. He's really really good. But yeah, no, the Bears. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row they pulled it out against poor competition. So I hope that they continue to win against the poor teams, like I said, Dave, because I want them to win about 7 or 8 games. We don't want you getting too good of a draft pick, though. Okay, so I'm actually glad they won. And then
we're not going to have anything to talk about in this segment next week because both of our teams are on bye. But then the week after, we get our annual Commanders game.
Yeah, you can call them the Redskins. We're not, Doug. You stop calling them the Redskins. Dave can do
it. even hype stopped calling them that. So
yeah. You know what's funny is since we won't have Packers Bear talk, we'll do a fun segment next week. We'll do so. Oh, you know what we were talking about? Remember, Dave? Like which coordinator?
I love talking about the Packers the last 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
No. I'm saying when they're both on a bye. Maybe next week we do the coordinator thing where we say, hey, these are the next coordinators that'll be head coaches or something like that. Right?
I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of fun. Like shout out some of the coordinators that maybe don't get enough love. So, all right. Well, cool. I mean, I think this was a pretty good show. I'm in a much better mood than I thought I would be after talking about that Packers game. But guys, it's only week 4. Like, that's why I'm not freaking out. Like when I think about the Ravens being 1-3, Like, I know the Ravens are a good team. I know the Ravens are going to be there at the end of the year. I know the Packers are a good team. I know they're going to be there at the end of the year. Like, they're going to be in the mix. So it's just kind of a hard 2 weeks. The Bears are definitely looking better. And hey, the Vikings lost. So at least we can all be happy about that. And we can send Aaron Rodgers a birthday card or something. So any final thoughts, guys, on this show?
It's week 4, and people often say the first 4 weeks of the season are kind of like a mirage before teams really get their stuff together, like the Saints did last year, right? Didn't they go on a big run? But my real thought though is a lot of that is coaching. Like if you saw the first week of the season where like you have your installs and everything, but you're just kind of like just going in there raw. The Packers looked amazing. We have really good talent. So really, if they can't figure it out, it's LaFleur's fault. So he needs to get his act together.
Oh yeah, there's an article at The Athletic came out with last week where they talked to front offices and said, who do you rank as far as the best front offices out there? And so me and a friend were talking about, okay, where are the Packers with regards to the Chiefs? Do you really think the Chiefs are better? And that's just a straight no. The Chiefs are coaching. There's some teams where it's straight up coaching. Green Bay, you have a great GM. The coach needs to step up. The coach needs to be more aggressive. The Chiefs, I was saying in the offseason, looking to see what they did with Worthy and Rice, and now they're getting their pieces together. Granted, it's not the classic Ravens defense, but I think they're going to start to put the pedal on the metal once it gets in pieces. The Chiefs might be waking up over the next 2 weeks, so it's going to be fun to watch because they don't have a running game.
Right. And we even said when they were 0-2, like they're still making the playoffs. Like there's no doubts, right? So we knew they'd be good. And I still think the Ravens are going to make the playoffs at 1-3 because the Bengals are imploding as we speak. They just look awful, right? We know the Browns stink. And as good as Pittsburgh is right now, 3-1, Pittsburgh's schedule gets a lot harder. Pittsburgh has had a bit of a cupcake schedule to start the year. So I don't think Pittsburgh's winning 10 games. I still don't think Pittsburgh's winning 10 games.
And they're old. They're going to start having injuries, and it's going to be.
So I still think the Ravens got that division locked up. I think the Chiefs. I mean, the Chargers looked invincible. They just lost today. The Chiefs have a chance to win their division. I mean, other than Buffalo, I think every division is up for grabs right now. Literally every single division is up for grabs except for the NFC East. I just unless something crazy happens, And
those are the last 2 undefeated teams right now. After only 4 weeks, we only have 2 undefeateds now. We had 6.
Oh wow! Wow,
yesterday.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah. So there's only 2. So it's the Bills and the Eagles, right? That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting.
But on the opposite end, we only have 3 teams without a win.
So, well, I'd honestly say maybe the NFC East isn't really up for grabs. I don't see the Commanders getting there. Maybe they could, but I doubt it. I think the 2 East, the Easts are figured out. Everybody else is still kind of like, we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, yikes, the Bengals, not so good. Not so good right now. Come on, Browning. Anyway, all right, well, it was a fun show. Thanks for making me feel better about the what was it called? Oh, yeah, a fucking tie.